forms, but always lead, always unstoppable.
Sup, you guys? ASD Classified here. Let's talk about source code. So, in episode 43 of a 44 episode series, the writers decided to give us a backstory on their main villain long after everybody stopped caring. And of course, the backstory is the most predictable thing you could imagine. But at the same time, it is a trip. Let's get into it. So in this episode, Evox reveals his dark past. My god, his dark past. Okay, so Evox is Vengex! Yes, he has had many forms. Yes, he has. Good lord. Evox is Vengex. And Nate unwittingly created the Evox virus. Okay, alright. Let's just get into the full backstory. So, at the end of Power Rangers RPM, Vengex somehow infected the Red Ranger's morpher. He put, I guess, a copy of the Vengex virus in the Red Ranger's morpher. Somehow, some way, Grid Battle Force came into possession of all 7 of the RPM morphers. How? Why did Dr. K give Grid Battle Force all of her morphers? Baby, these are questions that the writers have no interest in answering, okay? They just want you to be happy that they remember continuity, alright? They have no interest in answering that question. So, whatever your imagination tells you is the answer to how Grid Battle Force got the RPM morphers. So yeah, Grid Battle Force has the RPM morphers. They gave them to like Nate when Nate was in like 1st grade to experiment on and try to make new Ranger technology. So, when Nate was experimenting on the red RPM morpher, he combined the morpher with Morph X and Snake DNA, and that inadvertently created the Evox virus because Nate combined Morph X and Snake DNA with the Vengex virus, and that made the Evox virus. So what do I think about Evox being Vengex? Well, I don't care for it. I do not care for it too much. Now, I understand that there's a lot of people in the fandom that really wanted this connection. There are people in the fandom that wanted this connection before Beast Morphers was even a thing. Like, there's plenty of people that wanted a Goldbusters adaptation to be a direct sequel to RPM. And when we got Beast Morphers, there were plenty of people that were like, ooh, wouldn't it be cool if Evox turned out to be Vengex? Wouldn't that be a nice RPM connection? Well, meh, like... I get it. A lot of people are happy about this, and I suppose that's a win. The writers did make a lot of people in the fandom happy, so kudos to that. But I'm just not one of those fans. I never wanted Evox to be Vengex. Never. I mean, Evox, they do not need to be the same being. Evox does not even compare to Vengex. Are you kidding me? Vengex? Vengex. Vengex, who conquered an entire planet, who destroyed most of the world, who took over like 90% of the computers, who kidnapped people and put them in slave camps, who turned people into cyborgs, who created killer robots that kept advancing and becoming more powerful and evolving and shit, like, who had a bunch of sleeper agents running around, like, Vengex. Vengex. Are you kidding me? Vengex was a threat. He was a force. The RPM Rangers barely defeated him, man. Are you kidding me right now? Vengex was a force. Evox couldn't even infect one robot. Like, they are not the same. They are not the same level of threat at all. And the only thing about this storyline that keeps me from like really hating it is the fact that at least they explained that it was fragments of the Vengex virus that was used to create the Evox virus. So it wasn't the full Vengex virus. It was like a fragmented, lobotomized version of the Vengex virus combined with Morphex, combined with Snake DNA, and that's how you created the Evox virus. So it's just this broken, fragmented version. So like, okay, so that's why we have a dumbed down version of Vengex, because he wasn't all there. But now, in this episode, he absorbed the full Vengex virus, so he's whole again. So it's Vengex combined with Morphex, combined with Snake DNA, so he's a whole nother level now. So now he's an actual threat. Ooh, you know, I'm glad that the main villain is an actual threat after 40 3 episodes, great. Okay, so after Nate finds out that he like accidentally created the Evox virus, he's all upset with himself and he's frustrated and he feels like a failure, and it's like, I get it, but I don't. It's like, I understand him feeling bad, like, damn, I really did this? Oh my God. Like, I get that part. But him being so upset with himself and feeling like, oh, I just can't do anything. I need to lock myself up and never come out again. It's like, really? You're really blaming yourself this much? Dude, this is not your fault. It's just not. I'm sorry. You had no way of knowing that the Vengex virus would be in that morpher when you experimented on it. Like, come on. How would you know that? The only person, if you wanted to place blame on somebody, the only person to blame is once again Dr. K. Now look, I'm not one of those fans that like to blame Dr. K for Vengex. I understood why she created Vengex, and really it's Alphabet Soup's fault that Vengex got out of control like it did. But at the same time, Dr. K purposefully, intentionally, knowingly created Vengex. She knew exactly what Vengex was capable of. She programmed Vengex to do what it could do. Dr. K is completely responsible for Vengex. Dr. K is apparently responsible for these morphers getting the Grid Battle Force, I guess. I don't even... Dr. K should have ran a scan on those morphers before they got there. Like, come on. But, okay. So again, who's more at fault here? Dr. K. I don't really know why Nate is blaming himself this much, but whatever. So Nate, super upset with himself. His girl, Zoe, wants to cheer her man up, so she decided to bring the one person who knows what Nate is going through to help him out. And that one person is Dr. K. Dr. K being in this episode is definitely the best part of the episode. Every scene with Dr. K is brilliant. I love it. I'm glad that they got the actor to return to reprise her role. She was absolutely brilliant. I love the way they wrote her dialogue. It was sufficient. How about that? Like, it actually sounded like Dr. K. You know, it sounded like an older, wiser Dr. K. I enjoyed the dialogue. I enjoyed the performance. I enjoyed it. So Dr. K was able to give Nate a good pep talk and get him to stop feeling sorry for himself so that they can work on a solution to defeat the Vengex virus. So how are they going to do that? Well, the big brains are going to make an antivirus. Okay, like, I like the fact that the two big brains are coming together to work on a solution to defeat Vengex, but at the same time, the solution is an antivirus. Really? That is such a simple solution to defeat the sentient computer virus. An antivirus. Come on now. And Nate was like, well, since we have the source code for the Vengex virus, we can create an antivirus. It's like... Dr. K has always known what the source code for the Vengex virus is because, again, she created the thing. She, not once in RPM, decided to, hey, maybe I can make an antivirus. Like, it just sounds too simple, man. It's too simple. I liked how Dr. K defeated Vengex in the RPM finale. She created another virus. She's like, the best way to fight a virus is to have another virus. Dr. K hacked into Vengex's systems. That's how she defeated him. And I thought that was a creative, cool way. Here, we just, let me download some McAfee and an arrow and shoot it at Vengex. It's like... Child, I guess. It just sounds like too simple of a solution for me. So yeah, Dr. K and Nate created an antivirus and they tested out on RoboBlaze, and I guess it worked. They like blew RoboBlaze up with the antivirus arrow. So yay. Yeah, and then the episode ends with Dr. K going back to her dimension. She said, I need to check the systems in Corinth. If Vengex made it over here, he might still be lurking in our systems. I need to go check. So she went back to her dimension in the dimensional portal. And then as soon as she left, Vengex hacks into all of the Morphex towers on the planet and takes control over them. Dum dum dum. I enjoyed this episode. It's a good episode. It is the best episode of season 2. It is the second best episode overall in Beast Morphers. Nothing is going to beat the premiere of Beast Morphers. But this episode is pretty good. Dr. K made this episode really, really great. I loved it. I mean, even Ben and Betty were not annoying in this episode. Like, this episode is good. It's enjoyable, man. So, even though I really don't want or need Evox to be Vengex, it doesn't really bother me that much. It's an enjoyable episode. It's a nice little connection. Yeah. The one thing I wish was different was that Dr. K actually stayed. Again, Dr. K, you're kind of responsible for this. You created Vengex, so you just said, well, I made an antivirus, bye y'all. It's just, shouldn't you stay and wait to see if the antivirus is gonna work on Vengex? I mean, I wish they would have ended the episode being like, okay, I'm gonna call the RPM Rangers, try to get them together to come to this dimension and help y'all battle Vengex together, because Vengex was their enemy, right? Maybe y'all both should team up. But before she can do that, then Vengex takes over all the Morphex towers, and because he's taken over all the Morphex towers, it destabilizes the morphing grid, and they're not able to open a dimensional portal, so they can't call the RPM Rangers. But Dr. K is still there to help the Beast Morpher Rangers fight Vengex. I would have preferred that, but whatever. What we got is sufficient enough. So alright, if you're watching this video, what did you think about Source Code? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was a meh? Let me know in a comment if you'd be so kind. Alright, later guys. Jamata.